Hi there, this is Andre, and you are on a new episode of the Marketing Innovation Podcast Show. Our special guest today is Vlad Faraon, who is the co-founder and CBO of 𝐂𝐳𝐻, a blockchain project that aims to be the benchmark of trust and performance in the crypto and blockchain space. Today, we'll discuss building and launching successful blockchain projects from idea to growth through marketing and communities. So without further ado, Vlad, it's a pleasure to meet again and a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you? How's the day going and how's the market at the moment?
Yeah, hi, Andre. Thank you for the introduction. Really happy to be here. I'm really excited as well to talk about blockchain and talk about 𝐂𝐳𝐻. It's been a long day up to this point, but I still have some energy. I will always have energy to talk about what we are building. And the markets are looking good. If you are to have a look at the charts, it looks promising. We are on the right track, but we'll get there, I believe, in our call right here.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I know you guys have a lot of things cooking with the project as well, so maybe we'll touch on some of those as much as you want to share. I won't be very pushy. But yeah, I think just to get started and for the audience to get to know you a little bit as a person, as well as to get a feel about the project and potentially as well as the blockchain space in general, since many of the people that tune in today might not be very much into this space, although I know that many of us here on the podcast are interested about the blockchain space and we have previous episodes. So I think this would be a great opportunity for us to get a bit of insight from you, since you've been here from, like for a very long while, and you also have the history of building 𝐂𝐳𝐻 and interacting with a lot of projects, as well as with a lot of marketing, influencer people, communities. So exciting times. But first things first, what's your story and how did you go into this space? How did 𝐂𝐳𝐻 come about?
Yes, okay. Exactly. So I am in crypto since 2017, early 2017, something like that. Mm-hmm. Previously, I spent my last 14, 16 years in corporate business development. To be honest, I got sick and tired to be sick and tired. Although I love big companies, especially big tech companies, as we see that they constantly evolve and develop a lot of useful apps or platforms that we are all using. When I discovered, well, I know about blockchain, I believe since 2013, 2014, something like that. I had some friends that were mining Bitcoin, and they told me about Bitcoin, they told me the idea of decentralization, but at that point, my mind was in totally different places than right now. So of course, like I believe a lot of people did back then, I just ignored them and said, hey, what's this? Nobody's going to use that. What are you going to do with it? And so on and so forth. But fast forward a bit, in 2016, again, because my friends were keep telling me about Bitcoin and decentralization, I said, okay, let me look into this. Already the space was beginning to get some traction going. Mm-hmm. So when I start looking into it more carefully, I saw the potential of the technology. So first I saw the benefits of a decentralized network. Then I saw the idea of not having a central entity. And I will not go too much into basic description of what Bitcoin or decentralization is. There is a lot of useful info online. But I got into more in-depth somewhere closer to mid-end 2017. So that means that I kind of got on the initial ICO boom. That was the period when crypto went a bit more mainstream. Now, I will be honest, and I will tell you that at that time, I was just like any other new retail investor coming into this space. That means I had low financial literacy. I had low knowledge about how to invest, how to determine if a project is good or not. So I kind of went with the crowd. That means that I went on Twitter, also known as crypto Twitter. I went in Telegram groups. I even joined some paid channels, all in the idea of finding the quickest route to success.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that ended up bad because back then, and I saw that it's still the same issue right now, is that you do not know how to start. Where do you start when you want to start? Whose opinion should you follow when you start? When you know nothing, okay? So you try to find those guys that maybe are in this space for a longer time, or maybe you can find some way in which you can determine those individuals' knowledge.
So basically, what gives those people credentials to talk about crypto or a specific?
Exactly. So just like that, I started finding. So I just started to look for individuals that would that look like they know what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything was blooming or booming in the end of 2017, I got some good investments along the way. I also began to understand even more in depth how blockchain works and everything. And then when 2018 came, right before the bear market began, some of my investments started to go down the road, as in go slowly, minus 20, minus 30, minus 40. And I began to question myself, how did I get into these projects? I even got scammed. How did I end up investing in such poor projects? And my conclusion was that I followed the wrong people. Mm-hmm. My investment decisions were based on the number of followers a particular individual had. It was very hard for me to identify a track record of that guy's past performance. So this was also the time where the idea of Coreto came to mind. Mm-hmm. So somewhere 2018, 2019, I sat down with Justina, who is my partner both in life and also in business. She already was a successful entrepreneur. She had one of the first digital agencies in Romania. So let's say that she had a passion for design, a passion for developing, growing, tech in general. So after a lot of brainstorming hours, the conclusion was that the problem in the space at that time is that there is no place where you can evaluate the people that are talking about crypto investments. All of them are stating this is not financial advice, but in the same time, it's exactly what they are doing.
So if anything, sorry for interrupting, but if anything, I think it just got worse as the industry evolved and crypto became more, adopted, because there's more and more people, mm-hmm. and everybody that has, one successful investment. Oh, let me tell you how to do it. This is the project I'm following. These are my top 10 things, I'm investing in whatever.
I was full of videos. Top 3 coins to invest. Top 10 coins to invest. Top 5 coins that are going to moon. So then we said, okay, it's clearly that it would be very useful for the retail investor to have a platform on which people, content creators that are joining, can prove their worth, can mm-hmm. prove their knowledge. And how could they do that? Well, they could do that by being more transparent with how they work and being more giving. Let's say they should give more regarding their knowledge, applied mm-hmm. knowledge. And this is the way that Coreto came to life. Coreto comes from community reward token. And in the same time, Coreto in Portuguese means a bandstand. So this was a nice coincidence, because if you are to go even more into branding itself, we would say that we give the stage for content creators and for influencers to prove their worth, okay, to perform for the audience, and the audience will reward them by applause or through booing. Get off the stage, you know nothing. Okay, so. And then we said, okay, so there are, it's clear that this industry, just because there's a lot of money in it, and let's not hide behind the finger, but that's the truth. In crypto, there is a lot of money to be made, but in the same time, there is a lot of money to be lost. Especially if like we were back then at the beginning of the road. There is a saying in crypto that says, never invest more than you are willing to lose. Mm-hmm. We all say it, but nobody sticks to it. Myself included, yes. So fast things forward, in 2020, autumn 2020, we decided to go live. So it's when we started to look for ways to promote our project, to spread the word exactly for what we are trying to build and what we are trying to do and how. And it was the first time that I was in direct contact by being on the other side of the fence. I was not just a retail investor looking for projects. Mm-hmm. I was a project looking for investors, mm-hmm. and looking for channels in which I could fairly promote and fairly send out my message and our vision and what we want to do and want to build.
Mm-hmm. Let's zoom in a bit on this. I will not make this a long parenthesis, but I think it's relevant to the journey. For people out there that maybe have an idea in blockchain and they want to bring it to life, or maybe they are, setting up the team. What was your journey in setting up the team and creating this core group of people that have built 𝐸𝐸𝐻𝑒𝑡o then?
Well, as a core team, we are 4. Our core team is made up of 4 people. Me, Justina, we are the founders, and then we have Vali, who is our head of design, and Andrei, who is our head of development. Andrei goes back with Justina since the beginning of their time. So they have a long history of working together. They are very compatible in terms of ideas and mindset. So it was very easy for us to send him our idea of what we want this platform to do as an end result. And so Andrei worked with Justina for more than 7-8 years, something like that. Along the way came Vali, also from the agency time. Mm-hmm. And what we love about Vali is that he works very fast, and he does not need a very big brief. Mm-hmm. So he understands very well the concept and very quickly, and that's very important, because there's one thing in crypto, which is you need to move fast. There was a saying that one day in crypto is like 1 month in the real world. So yeah, so this is how we put together the basic team, the initial team. Then we outsource part of the development. And in April 2021, we managed to launch our closed alpha version of the platform. Great but stuff. Up to that point, I will get back to how to the initial idea that us were now in the position in which we had to find the right marketing agency to support us. Although we all had background in the digital world, it's something else to build for yourself. Sometimes you are very picky in your ideas. You are more of a perfectionist. So we tried to find someone that, whether they were freelancers or whether they were agencies, that could understand. First, they had to understand what we are building. this was one of the problems that we came across, was that everybody was saying, yeah, we will do A, B, C, D, sure, very fast. We know how to do it. We did it before, we'll do it again. But they did not understand our core values. Having in mind that the main use case for 𝐸𝐸𝐻 and its core values are based on transparency, on trust, on building trust itself, we couldn't use the type of marketing that is unfortunately right now being used in crypto, which is a lot of shilling. Are you familiar with the term of shilling in the industry?
I am, but let's explain it for everybody.
In short, you see this mouse? It's the best mouse. It's the best. What makes it the best? I say so. So I'm shilling this mouse, and just like me, there are other 10, 20, 30 so-called influencers that are saying the same, and they are getting paid by the manufacturer of this mouse to say that it's the best. Mm-hmm. And what's so good about it? Well, it has a scroll. Well, this scroll is so smooth. Oh my God, it's the best mouse ever. So this is something that is happening right now with most of the projects out there. Influencers, unfortunately, a lot of them are getting paid ridiculous sums of money, and the project themselves have no way in which they can track a return on investment. Very few are doing any due diligence on those projects. So that's a big no-no in our book. So we did a lot of tests, test and failed. We also ended up paying a lot of money on very low quality work.
So that was in you trying to shape up your marketing, right? As a project. Exactly. Initially when you were setting up.
As the projects were trying to identify the right individuals to work with, to find those professionals. There are unfortunately, again, few professionals in this industry. And those that are present, just because they know that in crypto there is a lot of money, they have huge fees that are not that have no structure. To give you an example, there are some that charge for just a basic AMA, sounds like 5,000–6,000 euros. Now it's an AMA, okay, but I have 100,000 followers. Okay, but how can you prove that those guys are really are following you because you are worth being followed, or they are fake accounts, or they are just in it for airdrops or bounty hunters, or and so forth. And to get back to your initial question, if you guys out there want to build a project on blockchain, first things first, you have to really look into your product. And of course, the same questions that need to be answered if you want to launch it in a traditional industry, or if it's for blockchain, they are the same, which is it useful? Is it needed? What problems does it solve? What's the tech? And does it need the blockchain or not? After you have that in mind, and set, even if you are still at the idea stage, you have to put together your team, of course, and then only then try to move into finding some marketing partners. There is a plus right now that there are a lot of launchpad projects out there, and these launchpad projects, what they do is that they already have a community behind them of investors, and they can help you out, put all of your ideas on paper, then help you spread the word about your projects inside their community. And with the help of their community, you can have some initial funding to get you started. Mm-hmm. Once you get started, And once you also your product begins to have shape, to get in shape, whether it's an MVP or an alpha stage, then you can boost your marketing moves in such a way to attract institutional investors. Because there are a lot of institutional investors that are now into crypto. Because like I said before, there is a lot of money here. And of course, Wall Street is not staying away from money ever. But also you have to be careful, who do you partner with? Up to this point, we refused any institutional investment because we wanted to have full control of how we build, the direction that the project wants to go. We are strong believers in lean startups rather than building on hype and selling false dreams. And this is a way that we gained the trust of our community. We were transparent. We are all public. We are not anonymous. So we are transparent. We always kept our promises. We always under-promised and over-delivered. But just like in any tech startup, there are also a lot of bumps along the way. So we had to push our deadlines. We had to modify our roadmap twice up to this point. These are things that are normal when dealing with building a tech product, a software product.
Of course, and mainly in a fast-moving industry such as crypto.
Especially. Yeah.
I mean, it would be an issue if those things wouldn't occur, right? Because only if we look at the last year or so,
there are a lot of projects that along the way they had to adapt, and so did we. When we first started, there weren't so many options of let's say blockchain protocols out there, or there weren't so we didn't identify the right trends. Well, there is one thing that I am proud of, is that even now, after 2 years, our product is still needed. The issues are the same, which is it's very hard for crypto enthusiasts to identify right projects or the right people to follow, to find educational materials, quality materials, easily organized and with a good user interface.
So if you were to articulate what 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝑒𝑡O does within 1 minute, what does 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝑒𝑡O do in 1 minute?
Okay, so just like I said, 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝑒𝑡O also means the bandstand. So we are building the stage in which content creators, which are not afraid to be transparent with their knowledge and with their portfolios and also with their own trading, they are not afraid to put it out there and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is my past performance. You can follow me or not, but I'm doing it for myself. We are building a platform that wants to be fun. We are building a platform that is intended to also be engaging with the community, because we are building our own community at the beginning right now, but we plan to open the doors, and if we have time, I'll talk about that as well. So we are building the stage for you, the content creator, for you, the trader. If you are bold enough, come on 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝑒𝑡O and build your profile, post your content, and then our users, followers, your followers, and so on and so forth, they will have other metrics to decide if you are worth being followed or not, other than just your number of followers on Twitter or in your Telegram groups. So we are helping the content creators prove their worth and their knowledge.
The crypto space, so those people that are analyzing the projects, right? Okay.
We are helping the retail investors, so to say, to identify those sources that are worth being followed. And we are also helping the project teams themselves to reach new communities, to help them build awareness around the project, to also claim an official page on 𝐶𝐻𝐻𝑒𝑡O and directly interact with the community that is being built here, and also have a place where they can find content creators whose history can be verified.
Mm-hmm.
In short, we want to be the main go-to platform when it comes to due diligence, whether you're doing due diligence on projects or on your next trade, or on which influencer or trader deserves to be followed.
Mm-hmm. And
in
one
short,
mention.
Yeah, please.
One mention here for the people that maybe are tuning in today, but they are not active investors, or maybe haven't occurred, like these struggles haven't occurred to them yet because they weren't active in themselves in the crypto space. Basically, one thing that I know 𝐸𝐻𝐻 does, and I think it's really cool, and he does that by using blockchain. So you mentioned, Vlad, that is verifiable, and their experience and expertise, anybody can go and look at their performance in the past and say, okay, this guy is legit, or this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. Basically, 𝐸𝐻𝐻 is using blockchain so that it can track how many times people were right in the predictions that they were putting forward.
In time, if let's say you, Andrei, are a content creator and you love doing trading, maybe you don't necessarily share your trades in the idea of building a following. You just share them because you yourself are now a successful trader and you like the crypto communities and you want to give back in a way or not. And what we do is that your entire track record, we store it on the blockchain so that it's immutable right now over there. And it's also transparent, because this is another issue that we came across, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, is that guys posting on Twitter or in Telegram something about a new project or an existing project and a potential, I don't know, Bitcoin trade, that opinion is being lost in the newsfeed, or even worse, it can be deleted if it went south, or and this is most of the cases. If they get it right, they will praise themselves. Oh my God, how much they will praise themselves. Look how good I am. Look how much money you could have done with my code. Join my paid group and I will make you rich. No, that will not happen. Okay, so there is no easy way to well, actually in crypto there is a get rich fast way, but it's not necessarily the right way. So that's why we aim and we work into building a crypto reputation. This is exactly what we are doing, and our future plans are to take our algorithms of reputation building and implement them into third parties platform. And up to this point, there is one partner that we can freely speak about. There is one forward protocol, they are called, and they are building courses with also in a lot of fields. And through our help, we will help them build the reputation of their content creators and of their teachers, let's say, based on how their community interacted with their content, based on their feedback, based on real life use cases, and so on and so forth. This is something still in development, but we are very eager because they were the ones that approached us, and they were just the first. We are also in talks with other two big projects, but can't say more now. But keep close to our announcement channels, and new news will come.
I know about one of them. I mean, who it might be, but I'm not. No, you guys follow 𝐸𝐻𝐻. You'll have the links in the description of this episode. So there's a couple of things cooking there. Also marketing wise. So I don't know, Vlad, if you are up for it, we can look at what you guys were doing lately and some of the plans that you have for the future. Also a couple of announcements that I know are cooking in the background. So maybe if you want to share a bit of that, just to give people a feel of how 𝐸𝐻𝐻 has evolved. So from when you were having those initial marketing activities, so fundraising and then launching the platform in closed alpha, how did the project evolve, and maybe what should somebody consider when it comes, apart from the delays and obviously the things that have to do with developing the product in itself. I think one is super important to note that 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝑒𝑡O is actually one of those projects that is live now, so people can actually go in and they can be active on the platform. There is a community around it. But moreover, how are you looking to scale things up? Because as we were talking in the beginning of this episode briefly, the market seems to be favorable now. So it may be a good time to actually, together with, in this case, 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝑒𝑡O, there's going to be a lot of other projects that will claim to be the best and they will claim to, you know, be the next big thing. So even more than maybe a couple of months ago, people will need, that want to get into this space, will need to be able to research. And then, of course, it's an opportunity for 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝑒𝑡O to be there to help them research better the projects that they want to get into. So what are you guys planning now for growth?
Well, up to this point, we had a private talk earlier today, and we were talking about what is the crypto investor type as a person, as a persona. And unfortunately, more than 70–80% of the people that are into crypto don't give that much importance on what is that project actually building. They just want to invest $100 now and maybe tomorrow have 1,000. We also had that type of users on 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝑒𝑡O. They did not understand, why don't we do marketing like other projects do, which means a lot of hype, a lot of influencers that are talking about us, a lot of, I don't know, promises. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We talk about price, talk about new exchanges. So we had a totally different approach on that. We wanted, as I told you, to have a lean startup. That means that our marketing efforts weren't that much focused on hyping the idea of 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝑒𝑡O. We wanted to keep our heads down and build. It was what we did. The community that we have right now understood that, and we have people with us even from the beginning of time that understood the concept, understood our vision, and also understood our way of doing things. And this was by being transparent, by always being in the community and talking with them. It was how we managed to gain their trust. And now that we have a product that, like you said, it's live and it's launched, although it's in closed alpha, it means that you can join only by having your spot reserved on a whitelist. And we periodically onboard users because we use their feedback, a lot of their feedback, to improve our product. So the point that we are now, we are even closer to a beta launch. But up to that point, we want to open up the gates a bit for 𝐸𝐴𝐻𝑒𝑡O. We want a bit more people to come to see it, to test it, to see its advantages. And we thought of doing that through launching a referral program. The referral program is somehow a basic marketing tool, but it's very powerful, because through the word of mouth and just through a referral link, you can organically grow much faster. So this is one feature that we are about to launch in the coming weeks. So up to this point, as we kept our heads down and worked, we improved our product. We have now somewhere close to 2,000 users, early adopters, that are using and testing the platform. And very soon we are going to launch our referral program. It might sound that it's the basic marketing move, but sometimes it's good to get to the basics, because it will give you the best results. By always, we always tested and we always listened to our community. It's also a way through which we can show them that their opinion is important and their feedback is implemented. And we also, actually, I have an example. There was one user that gave a feedback saying that, hey, it would be nice if I could have Coreto, something like my trading journal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we will take and implement in the next updates, a way in which you can see exactly what was your journey up to this point as a trader. You don't have to be an influencer. Any user can create opinions on Coreto. Mm-hmm. But it's a way in which you can also track your growth. Mm-hmm. Am I a better trader now than I was a few months before? Mm-hmm. And going back to marketing moves, we, like I said, we don't do necessarily what crypto does, and we want to take it slow. And sometimes slow is good, and sometimes fast is even better. So we try to combine these two.
Yeah, and actually, I think this referral program that you mentioned, it makes a lot of sense for the community, since you are a community-fueled type of project. Having your friends there with you, analyzing or challenging each other on the platform, and having this community feeling to it, and the social element, which I know you guys are following through with until the end. I think it's that thing that can make it fun and makes a lot of sense to have it. So looking forward to that. I guess is going to be some incentives attached to the whole program.
Yes, if we are to speak about just briefly about the referral program, we didn't want to build a program just like, okay, here's my link, just subscribe.
Yeah, get to $10 worth of whatever.
Yeah, and get a discount maybe to some subscription-based content developed by a certain content creator. Being early in the platform right now, we did not yet publish the monetization modules for content creators. So that means we are still in the stage where you will benefit from Coreto through its learnings that is provided through. So basically, if I invite you, it will help me even more if you do some tasks on the platform. One of the things that we are going to put a lot of effort in the future is the gamification part. Mm-hmm. Everything has to be fun. In order, especially what we are building, as like you said, it's a community-based platform. It's a community-driven project as well. Word of mouth is very important. So if you are to go and talk to your friends about Coreto, it has to also be fun. Mm-hmm. So we'll put in place a lot of gamification mechanisms. One of them right now is already in place, is one of the features that will help you build your reputation. It's called our staking of opinion pools. Mm-hmm. In short, you have an opinion, another guy has another opinion. Maybe I come along and I do not agree with your own opinion. So we'll create a pool of opinions based on a particular trade, and we'll let the market decide who's best, in short. Okay, so like a trading challenge or something like that.
Okay, so that sounds good. And then just going through our discussion right now, what it seems to me is that the way that Coreto differentiates maybe from some of the other projects that are launching or are just, just not really adopted at a very large scale, is that as opposed to those projects that go for the approach of like the traditional crypto approach of having the influencers do all the hype, sell the coins, etc., and then build the product or whatever that platform is. It seems that you guys
is being built.
Yeah, it seems like you could just rock and roll, then you didn't necessarily need that much people to invest in the coin and so on. So this is cool, and I think it's maybe you taking it a bit not slow, but you taking the time to do the work before talking about the work, rather than talking about the work before doing the work. Puts you in a very nice spot, and probably the people that you mentioned are with you from way back. That's why they are still with you. So probably waiting for, for you to talk a bit more broadly about what you're doing. And I think from that perspective, I think the referral program would actually be nice, because it will just enable people to work and see the utility of what you guys are doing at the moment.
Exactly. We were very careful also for our token. We wanted to give it use cases, not just a coin or a token that can be traded or exchanged. So it will have a lot of utility within the platform itself. And our current community, they also began to question, okay, when are you going to get out there and let people know about what you've been building? And we've won their respect and trust because we constantly delivered on our promises. And right now, we are also one of the strategies that we want to follow is to reach out to certain content creators or traders that are not, let's say, they're not the tier one influencer. They don't have hundreds of thousands of followers because they will not be so willing to start to join a platform and start it all over, because everybody starts from scratch when they start on Coreto. So we'll be reaching out to certain content creators that we've been studying, and we saw how they communicate and how they interact and what type of content they are putting out there. And we'll be inviting them to claim as an official profile on Coreto. And that will also help them to bring their communities on board and to prove them once again, although they already did that, but they can now prove through a clear track record stored on the blockchain that what they are preaching is also what they are doing and using. So that will also come as a plus. And once that people will get to see the utility and also that it can be fun to learn, that itself would be a catalyst for new user onboardings.
So going in, like judging from a marketing perspective, then it can be just to try to crystallize a bit in front of somebody that is maybe considering, maybe they have this idea or are considering applying the blockchain technology to an idea that they had of business, and they can see the utility of using blockchain rather than not. So there are two popular approaches that they may go for. One would be that one of building the hype, just having some community gathered, which is the root 90% of blockchain-based startups or businesses go for. And then using that money, whether that is from retail investors or private investors or investment groups, to build a product and to actually do the work and launch properly. Or it can be the approach that you had, which would be the more classical, if you want, business approach, which is, okay, let's build a product and then let's market it and launch it to a beta of users and then to the whole mass market, right? These would be the two main approaches. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, but then there's another thing that tends to be, is not the right thing, but it happens. So many people use the price of a coin. I mean, every blockchain project has a coin. And then when people are looking at the projects available out there, maybe retail investors looking to diversify their portfolios, many of them follow the graphs of the coin increasing in price or decreasing, and, judging a lot a project by that specific price and the opportunity for growth and 10xing their investment and so on. What you mentioned, just investing 100 today, having 1,000 tomorrow. If not, I'm not happy with that. So how do you feel that impacted Coreto? Because obviously, since you didn't bring a lot of users and you didn't build that hype before building the project, that impacted a bit the fluctuation of the coin price, I would imagine, and also maybe where you are right now from a maturity standpoint as a project, as opposed to other projects that are maybe in the same price range as Core.
Yes, the way that your price chart is looking, it's important as well. When you research for a project, of course, that you also there are two options. Either the project is about to launch, so it's something like pre-launch, so there is no price history, or there is a project that you discovered in your own ways, and you are seeing its price chart, and if you see something like there is a flat and then there's a bump and then a flat, there's a bump, then well, that's something that could it could lift up some question marks, but not in the wrong way necessarily. So when you identify that type of a project, then you have to go more in depth and search for the fundamentals of that project and see why, how can you explain that flat line and then just a few bumps. Then you can discover that the project wasn't marketed very much, and there are a little number of holders, and there aren't so much trading volumes. But if you look in depth and you see that that particular project is about to launch certain features, or is about to announce new partnerships, or it's just about to burst, well, that's the best time to get into. Mm-hmm. There is also something that if that particular project only has a few weeks or months as a history, if it's a parabolic growth and then it goes down, it's something that we would want to stay away, because it means that that was a hyped project and then the market itself did its job and went south. Mm. When you look into new projects, it's good to see the perspective, to have a steady growth, to see that it goes steady, but still it's in an uptrend of price action. It's somewhere that we are at ourselves. So we did not focus on the price itself. A lot of users were constantly asking us, why the price is not going up? Why aren't you growing? Why are you constant? Well, it's because we do not want to hype the token based on false claims. So we want to prove that the product is good, that is needed, that it works, and then level up our marketing efforts. And that's the point that we are at right now, like I told you.
Mm-hmm. So from the discussion that we had just before the show, I know that you mentioned the big focus over the next couple of weeks is going to be, so you have the launches coming up, the referral program, and then there's another couple of features that you guys are working on for the platform. If in terms of marketing moves that are important being in this space right now, would be one, the focus on community growth. So ensuring that you bring the right people into the project, not only the ones that look for the get rich quick type of investment, but rather people that are interested in this, you know, the values that you share, like transparency and then traceability and so on. And people that will be able to benefit from the features that you make available in the platform, such as, you know, staking of opinion pools and sharing just information that is.
Yeah, right now, as Coreto, although it's a research hub, it also works like a social platform. Of course, there is a lot of content that can be created, either through posts, social posts, either through articles, reviews, and so on. But from a marketing standpoint, we are now focusing on attracting quality users. At first, we want to focus on attracting quality traders and content creators, because they are the ones that will attract the retail investor in the end. Being a social platform, of course, your user base is very important. It's one of the reasons that we did not start with an open alpha, anybody could join, and we wanted to focus on having people that will test and that will provide feedback. Of course, we had a lot of people that joined and did nothing. Well, we got rid of those and we onboarded new people. In the stage that is about to unfold right now, we will reach out, like I told you, to certain content creators, invite them here, give them certain perks, of course, because what's in it for them in the end. And with their help and with the content that they're building, and also with the features that we're having and the perks and the gamifications and everything, it will make it fun for them to share their opinions in the social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Insta, or TikTok. It will be like a snowball effect.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the phrase "build it and they will come." Well, although I do believe in it, it's also important to give them some boost to help them come.
To let them know that it exists, right?
We have to let them know that we built it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how can we do that other than through communities? As 𝐀𝐲𝐻 is built for crypto communities, it will help. It is also a way through which we are now looking to expand. So we are also searching for projects out there, whether they are already well-known projects or also our projects at the beginning of the road. They will go through our own due diligence because, of course, we cannot partner up with somebody that we know it's not trustworthy. And how can you know that? Well, the first sign is, are you public or are you anonymous? It's not a rule of thumb that if you are anonymous, you are also you also have bad intentions. But that's one of the first things that come to mind when people see an NFT or an emoji instead of a public profile page. You know, so to give it a wrap, it's like we will use the power of community to spread the word about 𝐀𝐲𝐻, which is a community-driven platform. Because we work for, it's why we are building. We are building this because ourselves went through the pain of being rug pulled, being scammed, taking bad investment decisions. So at the end, when you yourself are working on solving a problem that you yourself encountered, and throughout the feedback that we're getting, we can see that we are not the only ones. And there are a lot of statistics out there and a lot of media saying that there are a lot of scammers in crypto. It's very dangerous, it's very risky, it's very volatile. It's something that through 𝐀𝐲𝐻 we want to work and to provide that needed help that everybody at the beginning of the road really need.
So very good stuff. Looking forward to seeing the platform evolve. I've already made an account, so you probably already know that. Yep. So I know I know it's working and it's cool. Looking forward to seeing a lot of activity there soon. Now, coming to the end of this episode, and I know you are a busy man as well, so I will let you go soon. But just want to pick your brains on a final thing, and that would be for the people out here that are are building towards projects. What would be your top 3 tips or advice, pieces of advice that you'd give them when shaping up or launching potential blockchain projects?
So after you get everything done in terms of your team initially, maybe you find some advisors as well, it's really helpful to find people that are involved into this space, that are connected. Networking is very important because it's the way that you will be able to build up partnerships. One thing that I like in crypto is that most projects are very open to partnering up if, and this if is very important, you bring value to the table. There are a lot of, I see community partnerships. They do nothing. They just, hey, we partner up with 𝐀𝐲𝐻, congrats. Okay, but how will 𝐀𝐲𝐻 help me, and how will my project help 𝐀𝐲𝐻? So attending different crypto events, luckily now face-to-face events are beginning again. So attending live events, that would be first, because it's a way in which it will be easier for you to network. Mm-hmm. Also, mingle, always be communicative, always try to speak your mind in different groups. It's the way that you will see that you can build relationships online. I mean, in the end, come on, we are in 2020. Anybody can build up a relationship online. And especially if you find groups of founders, of crypto project founders, and there are some out there, picking their brains. Well, how did you do that? How did you do that? If I were to start over, it would be, this is something that I would do more carefully and more thoroughly, and which is building a network. Just like in any industry, your network is very important. So once you have your network built, then start talking about your vision and your project and your ideas, because by talking about it, you'd never know who will have a moment like, hey, I could really help out these guys. I really like their idea. And based on my experience and the people that I know, I'm certain that I could really bring value to that project. So never be afraid to talk about what you are building. It's okay to have doubts, and it's okay to be insecure. In the end, that's the life of an entrepreneur. Yeah. You know, I myself had my own, but thanks to my team and thanks to the people that had my back, that is something that I managed to move past. And the third one, and I believe that once your project gets some traction, this is the most important one. Do not believe everything that is promised to you by different service providers in this industry. There are a lot of scammers among service providers as well. There was one fun fact. There was one marketing agency, crypto marketing agency, that did approach us, and they said, we can help you build your community. We have a lot of experience. We've built hundreds of thousands of communities. They build communities with hundreds of thousands of users. Okay. And of course, my first question was, please share a portfolio. And I had the pleasant surprise to find our logo in their portfolio. But we never worked. And I was like, wow, we already work together. You know, and this is one case. And there are others that say, okay, I can get your project trending on different sites for the small fee of $5,000. Really? How will that help me? It will just bring some hype. It will just maybe pump my price a bit. But once those new users that are coming into my project will see that I still have some work to do until I will fully deliver my project, they will sell as fast as they bought in. So that's also a big no-no. So to sum it up, be very careful when people approach you offering services. Again, based on the network that you are building, use them to refer different service providers in the industry. Have in mind that the crypto industry, unfortunately, also attracts a lot of scammers. So you have to be very careful out there. Okay. And of course, it will be another one. Be careful what you're doing with your private keys. Your private keys of your wallet are very important. There is no I forgot my password button. There is nobody that can give your funds back. Okay. So this is something that you really have to be careful on the security side. Both of your platform or of your project or whatever you're building, make sure that your security guy knows what he's doing. And also this part is also very important based on recommendations. Okay. So I believe this would be my 3.5 advices.
Let's move the last one to the first one.
Yeah, I think that is very important. So always take care of your private keys.
Always never share.
Never share them.
Super. Vlad, it was great having you on the show. Thanks so much for being here. I know it's busy times for you guys, so appreciate you taking the time to come over. Really cool. where people, I mean, what would be the best place? Obviously, I know you guys have the Telegram and it's the place to be for following crypto projects. So your Telegram, we have it here for people watching the show. It's t.me/𝐶oreto. For you guys tuning in from streaming platforms, you can find 𝐶oreto following this this link. Vlad, any other platforms that you think people would be worth following?
My direct messages are always open. I am active in our group. You can find us on our Twitter. If you go on 𝐶oreto.io, you will see in the footer all of our social media groups and channels. You can contact me directly on Telegram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I like to talk. So I hope that if there is anyone out there that have any questions for me or are at the beginning of the road, I will be more than happy to give you some of my own insights. And if I do not know, I will do my best to recommend you to somebody that can help you in this journey.
Appreciate it. And two things finally. I know we said we're going to wrap it up, but I think these are relevant. So a question: can people now come on the platform, even if it's even if they need to be approved? It's open, right? So anybody can create an account if they want to. First question. And the second is, if people with projects are listening and they would like to claim their project page, can they do that on 𝐶oreto, or what would be the best approach to doing that?
Right now, they cannot create a profile directly from 𝐶oreto.io. What they can do now, they can whitelist their username on reserve.𝐶oreto.io, and we will onboard them. This is now, but once our referral program will go live, maybe they will get an invite link from some of our existing users.
Okay.
So the answer to the first question is no, you cannot create a profile right now. You need to reserve your spot and your username using reserve.𝐶oreto.io. And the second question, the project module is still in development, but I would encourage any project out there to reach out to us, and we can talk and see exactly what they are building, what their stage is in. And if we find synergy between us, we'll find a way in which we can work together in the future. That's for sure.
Great stuff. Okay, that was it. Thanks so much for being today here. Thanks so much for being here today. Keep rocking it.
Thank you, Andre.
Yeah, and looking forward to catching up soon. Guys, thank you for staying with us till the end. Looking forward to your questions. If you have any, as always, post them in the comments if you are watching this on YouTube, or otherwise feel free to tag us, DM us on social, or write us at our email address. And as always, we'll be happy to answer, as well as maybe, you know, if you need to put you in contact with Vlad, although his DMs are always open. So we link those in the description of this episode as well. Take care with your crypto investments, as Vlad was saying. Don't share your private keys.
Always do your own research.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes, and okay. Looking forward to catching up on the next episode. Thank you all, and keep doing an amazing job, everybody. Speak soon.
Bye-bye.